one, go.
Hi, everybody. It's Thursday. Hope everyone made it through the Fed. Pretty interesting action. Being long the dollar did not hurt anyone that took me seriously. You had about 60 pips before the number, and the pullback did not make new lows. And we're getting follow through strength today in the dollar. We're getting some weakness and risk. I'd say the most decisive action that we have is in interest rates. They finally, you know, showed their hand here with what happened yesterday. Here's your 10-year. So we talked about the pivot. You're long above it, you're short underneath it, and now we have this trend line in the 10-year being broken. So I could definitely make a case for lower yields. You could go up to 470 and call this 60, and 60 from this breakdown is going to give you about 3.5. Even have some lower targets. So there will be bounces along the way. It's not going to be just like a crash in rates, but that's decisive. So along with that being decisive, should have booked a lot of your yen at 49. And then when I was on the other day, I said, you could hold, but use some protective stops, so maybe under 49.10. And I want to sell this. Okay. I want to get back on the short side because of what I just showed you in yields. I now think that this was, as I always did, just a bounce in an overall downtrend. And there's some big downside targets ahead in the end, all the way down towards 120. But to me, this was just another little failing rally, and that we're going to be on our way lower, I think, towards this 140 level in the weeks ahead. So we'll be stalking shorts, uh, perhaps with my target in the Dixie, which we got long Monday. Then I had some other people get long off some other webinars, and at 380 we had a nice little three drive. I demoed it on a 30-minute chart when I was on, show was it? Yeah, I was on Real Vision. So someone asked me if I was still looking for 104.80 and we were here. And I said, wait for one more low for a three, and then wait for your first blue candle and go with it. Drop your stop a 0.5% underneath it. And here we are. Had a nice rally, then the pullback on the Fed, and now we're headed up towards this 104 level. And 104.80 was what I was thinking. Initially, that was my target. So, we still could have another 100 points in the Dixie. What's really interesting, I want to talk about it, is I took profits in Aussie and then trailed stops. Aussie is getting really obliterated. I think their job market, their employment numbers were bad, but I this is Aussie Kiwi. That looks pretty good, which is usually bearish. So here we go. I actually think that there's a shot for new lows in Aussie. Okay, we'll see where it's at. We could key all the currencies off my dollar target. Okay, because some will hold up better. My suspicion is that the euro holds up the best. Okay, so we'll be looking for buys in the euro on pullbacks. Not yet. I welcome this. I'm taking advantage of it counter trend. But as I said, counter trend, you always go lighter as far as positioning when you're trading counter trend. So say we have another 100 points in the dollar index, that could take us down towards 107.72 is 38% back. Maybe more towards this 38%, 106. Halfway back's 570. I don't think we're going to go all the way back down to 105. It's not, just should not be that accommodating. I may start at 107. That's only 100 lower. Yeah, because it shouldn't be real deep. And compare that action to Aussie. Look at that. It's like two different worlds. And so here's Canada, which is the opposite story, which did not make new lows along with the Dixie when it was making new lows. It's well off them. Looks like there's a continuation formation building in over 145. We could take out these highs. So the commodity currencies, which is kind of surprising because most commodity markets are doing well. Uh, the miners are doing great. Copper's doing great. I don't know what's wrong with these commodity currencies. It's got to be their economies rather than um, their natural resource base that they have, but they look terrible. USD MEX doesn't look as bad as uh, I mean, USD CAD looks much better than USD MEX. So there's, we have to be thinking about April 2nd. That's when the tariffs go into effect and reciprocal tariffs. So there's some fear about holding the Canadian dollar with what's happening between the US and Canada. We are getting the first inklings of gold high. Of course, there's too much mo on the 4 hour. We have some divergence. So what I'm thinking is we get a little bit more of a break in the next couple of days, and then the next high, which can be a 3 here, right? Call this 1. I don't think you could call this 1, but that. And but this time, even at new highs, even though we diverge, right? It's not. It's too much mo. You want to see gold making new highs and the RSI under 70. But I think it's real crowded. I'd even though silver has been weaker the last few days, I still think that the gold silver ratio is topping out up here. So I would rather go with the gold short and see how well silver holds up on the break. And I don't think silver reached its high yet. So it's still another $2 higher is the objective. So let's see if the ratio begins to improve without gold going to 32.50. And I want to take a victory lap on my call of the week. Really was last week on Thursday on the air, a day before, and also tweeted it out that the market was making a low on the lunar eclipse and that it could rally until the solar. And I'm not short things yet. I'm looking into next week as being a possible time frame to put some stuff on. Uh, I don't believe we even got to 38% back yet. I still think that there's a chance for 50%, 58.60 or so. You could see that if I just zoom out. So 58.29 is 50%. Somewhere in this range between here and 59 would be ideal if we get that kind of big move. Maybe it's a peace deal. I would love a peace deal and big strength into it that the market really gets optimistic about something like that and gives me, I mean, I'd be very happy if the killing would stop. Um, I just don't think that um, Ukraine should trust Putin without guarantees. Okay, so we'll see what happens. We're getting some bounces and some of the stuff I that are going to be my preferred shorts, and Apple's hanging on by a thread. But maybe we could juice. We haven't even gotten back to the 220 breakout. Um, that would probably be the first place. But we could see 38%. We could see halfway back. Let's see what happens next week. Um, some of the other stocks look okay. I'm looking for NASDAQ about 100, to 20,300. I'm looking for 128 to start buying puts, 128 to 130 in NVIDIA. And if I'm wrong, it's going to break out, go to new highs. But this has been going on for a long time. I guess you could call this a false breakout. I'm still skeptical about NVIDIA. Every time their CEO talks, everyone gets excited, and then when he's through speaking, they're disappointed. I also think that there's going to be some issues with chips down the road during these trade wars. So those are a couple of candidates that I'm looking at, and also the banks. Banks up until today were starting a decent retrace, and I think these have come back much stronger. I think 61.8 is doable with stops over the highs. So 44 and a half, 45 with stops over 48, and you're looking for pretty big numbers to the downside if this is a failing rally. And I think I'm going to leave it there until tomorrow. Okay. The only trade I did this uh, week in FX was the dollar from Monday, and again on a pullback. So this looks pretty good. 440 coming. Remember the three P's: probe, when the market goes your way, take a partial, and then protect the remainder. And just like the yen last week, where we would do those three P's and still be able to make a little bit of money, but the other P is stay persistent if you still believe in it, because a lot of people that go, there's this yen's not going to do it, but there are things telling me it could. And these weren't real high risk trades, 70, 80 pips for a couple hundred. Anyway, stay persistent, and don't forget to probe, take partials, and then protect the remainder. And don't just count your pips, count your blessings. We'll wrap up the week tomorrow.